day, everyone! To start with, English continues to be widely utilized as the language of instruction in many parts of the world, including the Philippines. In the country, educational lessons apart from subjects like Filipino and DSP are taught in this foreign language. For this reason, it is important that every student has the ability to harness their English fluency in order to achieve academic competency. However, a large number of pupils remain struggling when it comes to navigating around this language. Hence, we, the researchers, have come up with a research study entitled Struggling to Speak English, Challenge Faced by Grade 11 UM Student in Achieving Academic Competency at Landi National High School. I am Princess Angela Lantoria, and I am one of the proponents of this paper.
The general objective of this study is to assess the challenges and the impact brought by the struggle to speak English language to grade 11 students and how to alleviate these in order to achieve academic competence.
Next, as for the statement of the problem, we aim to give answer to three questions. Firstly, what are the factors that contribute to struggling in speaking English? Moreover, what impact and influence does struggling in speaking English have on grade 11 young student in London National High School? Lastly, what are the ways to alleviate the struggle on the grade 11 young student in relation to speaking English to achieve academic competence?
Moving on, the results of this study will be beneficial to the following. To the students, this may serve as an eye-opener for those who are not self-aware about the various factors and impact that the struggle to speak English has on them. To the teachers, the results may serve as basis to evaluate all the strategies that have been applied in Landi National High School in order to implement programs effectively. To the future researchers, those who want to conduct research with the same subject, this study can be used as an additional reference or as further research with different discussion.
In line with this, we now have the highlights of our Chapter 3, which is our methodology. Our study followed the qualitative approach of research, specifically under empirical. Furthermore, our research locale is set at Landi National High School, where we gathered 5 grade 11 young students who served as our respondents. Considering the eligibility of the students, we utilized snowball sampling for this study. That being said, in gathering the necessary information, we gave questionnaires to the selected student, which immediately underwent data validation, coding, and were subjected to thematic analysis.
Now we have the results of this study. For the table 1, we have factors that contribute to struggling in speaking English. For the first team, we have English conversation. And for every respondents, we have different codes like eloquent English, acknowledge each other, tongue twister, and apprehending English. The respondent said that this is important because when I meet someone who knows English, he will talk to me. So when I know it, we can understand each other. Next, English is important to easily talk and communicate, especially with foreigners. Next, just a little, because the other are deep words that are very difficult to pronounce. Next, I can understand by listening so that I can understand what I learned about English. For the next theme, we have the affect countries, and we have different codes. Like the first theme, we have disturbed communication and reliable. The respondent said that yes, because culture, gender, nationality, and social class are subcultural factors that influence and affect communication in culturally diverse society. No, because the wording of this is everything and possible. For Table 2, we lay down the impact and influence of this struggle to students. On first theme, we have improving English skills and we have different code, learn English language, rehearse a lot, and advance mind. For the respondents, He or she said studying English and their pronunciation, practice and read a lot English booky and jot down the unfamiliar word and look for their meaning. It expands the mind more and understand it. For the second theme, we have one not fluent in using English, and we have one code inaccurate English. The student said that about grammar because sometimes I know how to do English wrong grammar. And for the last theme, we have concern on speaking English. We have three codes, and that is difficult in speaking, English concentrate, and fear. For the respondents, he or she said, for me, the most difficulty in speaking English is the pronunciation. Next, in sentences, construction, because I focus more on our own language. And lastly, fear of making mistakes that result in failure to speaking English language with other people. For the table 3, we have the ways to alleviate the struggle of grade 11 students in relation to speaking English to achieve academic competence. In the first theme, we have ways to improve English. And we have two code, correct grammar, practice words, and being fluent in English. In the first respondents, he or she said by learning how to speak English properly and using correct grammar. Practice and practice. Start a vocabulary book of useful words and by using it every day to become more fluent in English. On the next theme, we have studying well. We have three code, preparing before class. It depends on study and listening and understanding every word. The respondent said that preparing before class can help me to understand the material better and will make it easier to concentrate during class. Read and take notes on the material that will be covered in class and review, rewrite, summarize from the previous text. Next, depending on what is being studied, and lastly, listening and understanding every detail or meaning of every word used.
As for the conclusion, the researchers therefore conclude that pronunciation is one of the main factors, alongside others mentioned in the study, that contribute to the struggle in speaking English because it affects the students' academic performances. In relation to its impact and influence, the researchers conclude the lack of self-confidence is one of a big impact of speaking English because it can result shyness of using English language with other students. The researchers have concluded that undoubtedly struggling to speak English can have a significant influence on students both academically and socially. It is important for educators and communities to provide support and resources to help students overcome these challenges and achieve their full potential.
Finally, based from the findings of survey, questionnaire, and interview, the researcher recommended that if an institution, particularly educational ones like schools, are aware that their constituents or students have deficiency of English language skills, they must strive to immediately resolve this by educating the target people and eliminating further problems in order to foster an environment of fluency.
That will be all. Thank you very much for listening.